Occurred the 20th of February 2006, 1 hour 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: South Bend, Indiana, USA. Shape: unknown. Duration: 10 to 20 minutes. Know of observers: 1 bluish-white dot seen over South Bend, Indiana. On the night in question, I was sitting in front of my house in my car talking on the phone. I was leaning back pretty far in my seat. I saw something move from the corner of my eye. I looked up out of the car window and saw nothing. I continued talking on the phone, and about 3 minutes later I saw something again. I looked again and saw nothing again. I thought I might have just barely saw a shooting star, as I have seen those before. I went back to talking on the phone for another few minutes and saw something again from the corner of my eye, and I looked and was thinking maybe it was a meteor shower. I got out of the car and saw a bluish-white dot flying around and high in the sky. It was flying around like a housefly does, zipping around really fast. I stared and stared, trying to listen to see if I could hear any sound, because I thought I might have been a bat flying, but bats don't emit light at night and you can see their wings. In the background was a streetlight, which helped me kind of determine how high up this dot was. The light from the streetlight was not nearly enough for me to make out a shape. If it had been a bat, the streetlight would have shown me, because the bat would have been closer to it, and bats don't fly up that high. So while I observed this dot flying around and heard no sound at all, the dot was flying across the sky at extremely high rates of speed, faster than anything I had ever seen move in the air and cover that much distance in such little time. The agility of this dot was stunning, changing direction abruptly without appearing to slow down. After several minutes, I noticed another bluish-white dot appear from seemingly nowhere and began to kind of interact with the other dot. I compare to 2 houseflies flying around each other, if you have ever noticed anything like that. Really fast and going in every direction really fast. After a few more minutes, another dot appeared from nowhere, and now there were 3 bluish-white dots flying around in the air, going back and forth across the sky at very high rates of speed, changing direction flawlessly, with absolutely no sound coming from the 3 dots. After observing all 3 dots for several minutes, they all flew into a horizontal line, stopped, and then they all shot straight up into the sky faster than anything I have ever seen fly or move, and the dot on the left flew off to the left, and the dot on the right flew off to the right, and the dot in the middle continued straight up. This is when I realized that these dots were up extremely high, because they would go up so high and disappear and then reappear all of a sudden. So after that show, the dots continued to fly around like flies, and one by one they flew off into the distance, disappearing from view, and they were gone and nothing was left. No cars came down my street at this time. There were no other planes in the sky that I noticed, and I live close to an airport and hear and see planes flying up very high all the time.
Occurred the 14th of June 2007, 23 hours 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Location: South Bend, Indiana, USA. Shape: light. Duration: 45 minutes. Know of observers: 5 characteristics: lights on object. We saw a huge light with a large craft behind it, low in the sky for about 20 minutes. Then it slowly moved northwest. My sister and I were sitting in her backyard at about 11:30 p.m. on June 14, 2007. She noticed a large, very bright, white light in the sky and told me to look at it, wondering if it was a star. This was in the western night sky. I immediately said that was something unusual. We positioned ourselves to face the light directly and watched it for nearly an hour. We originally thought it might be a star, but it was too large and bright. I told her that it made me nervous. Was it a helicopter? Or a plane? It was motionless for so long that it could be neither. Maybe it was a blimp, but a blimp wouldn't be out at this time of night and doesn't have a light coming out of the front of it. It was obvious that a craft of some sort was behind the light. We called our father, who was at his house nearly a mile west of us. He and our stepmother went into the driveway and looked at the light. He said he believed that it was Jupiter, that the planet was low in the western sky now. We continued to watch the light, and nearly 20 minutes later, it began moving in a northwesterly direction. Our niece came out during this time and watched it with us. Our brother came by and said it had to have been a hot air balloon flying at night. This was not possible because the light was too large and the craft was behind the light, as opposed to above it. Also, the light wasn't a flame. The light began slowly moving and became smaller as it headed northwest. Within another 20 to 30 minutes, it was gone below the trees. It was so unusual, though, because it hovered in one place. We wondered if it was over the Golden Dome of Notre Dame, as it looked like it was above the campus. There is no way it could have been a star because of the way it moved and because of the direction it took. All the other stars in the sky, which were obviously so much farther away, didn't visibly move in the sky like this light did. It was different from the movement of the moon, as the path and speed of movement were very inconsistent. When we looked at the light at first, it looked like a giant 5-point star. There is a street light that shines in the trees near where we saw the light. What we saw was much bigger than the size of the street light. We called a local television station and asked if anyone had called in this sighting. He told me that we were the first. I am wondering if any Notre Dame students saw it, as it appeared to be above the area of the campus.
Occurred the 21st of May 2008, 23 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: South Bend, Indiana, USA. Shape: triangle. Duration: 1 minute. No of observers. 1 characteristics: lights on object. I was driving home from work headed north on US 933, went to the east of me. I thought I saw an airplane, but then realized it wasn't behaving like an airplane. It wasn't moving much, just sort of hovering. As I came closer, I saw it was a perfect triangle with 2 white headlights, a red light in between. But what really got me as I came closer and saw the undercurrent of a bunch of all different colored lights in just solid triangle with all these varied lights. It reminded me of the game, Simon says. And then I thought I just saw my first real UFO, because I cannot explain how it just hung there and no noise at all. I almost wanted to turn back and get a better look, but thought maybe someone else also saw it and hopefully reported it too. I can't believe they are now showing up in my small town.
Occurred the 10th of October 2008, 19 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: South Bend, Indiana, USA. Shape: light. Duration: 10 minutes. No of observers. 10 glowing succession of flying objects on the horizon. We were at a backyard party in South Bend, Indiana, when I noticed a very bright orange light flying on the horizon. The light at first glance resembled an airplane, but was being followed closely by other objects of the exact same description. They looked exactly alike and were flying too close to each other to be airplanes. They were flying due west of us. Everyone at the gathering agreed that planes and helicopters do not fly like that. And they glowed a bright yellow or orange.
Occurred the 24th of October 2009, 20 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: South Bend, Indiana, USA. Shape: triangle. Duration: 7 seconds. No of observers. 4 characteristics: lights on object, changed color. Triangle. Craft over South Bend. My husband and I, along with our 2 sons, were in the hot tub looking at the stars when my husband noticed an object appear out of the NE sky, moving very fast. It appeared to be triangle-shaped craft that had 3 pulsating lights changing colors from yellow, blue and red. The craft flew very fast from the NE to SW, but not in a straight pattern. It was out of sight within 7 seconds. There were no sounds made by the craft as it flew overhead.
Occurred the 28th of January 2010, 3 hours 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Local location: South Bend, Indiana, USA. Shape: triangle. Duration: 20 seconds. Characteristics: lights on object. Triangle over South Bend. I was driving west on 8090 Toll Road in Indiana. I was at mile mark 74 when I looked at the sky. It looked like it was around mile mark 72. I saw 2 big lights pointing down. I did not know what this was. It was just standing still, then it moved south about 4 miles in a matter of 2 seconds. At this point I saw the shape of the object. It was triangular shape. It kept on moving south, then it took off, it disappeared.